Shalom, shalom. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Bahashim, Raha Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the head apostles of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Akwath who do subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there in the highways and byways, highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and risking their freedom, now more so than ever, especially in these times, making their bodies a living sacrifice, out there on the highways and byways with the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy, which allows men to go into the scriptures and bring out understanding on a high level. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the men of Valor Camp, New Jersey, NYC, first camp I ever heard the truth from, Isaiah 62 verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, keep not silence, give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is a praise in all the earth. So I just want to touch base on this article right here that was released this morning, May 8th, out of the New York Times. It's about a 10:30, give or take, 10:24 Pacific Standard Time, PM. This article was released this morning. Don't have the timestamp, but you can see right here, fresh off the press. And let's get into it. This article touches on the cyber attack and how that's going to affect the fuel supply, which is going to eventually affect the food supply and a few other things as well. Lord's will, this lesson will be edifying. Going to try to make it a shorter lesson if the Spirit allows. And to those that aren't in the know, those videos that were put up over the past day or two that are older, those videos are coming from my terminated channel, my original channel, Fisher Turn Hunter Amos 911, which I lost last month on the 12th. And one of the other videos comes from the second terminated channel, Fisher Turn Hunter Amos 911 Ba. And the reason why those lessons are going up is because I'm set to get back my original second backup channel, which is my main channel now, off suspension. It was suspended for 2 weeks for hate speech about the video exposing the Noah Green incident. That video got me a 2-week strike. That channel has 2 strikes. I'm not going to stop pushing on that channel, but I will make an update to let people know these channels, are backup channels. And in case that channel gets taken down, I'm going to put up as many videos as I can from that channel over to this channel and eventually the other backup channel over the course of the next week or so. So that's why you see those older videos going up. Lord's will, those lessons are edifying, but just moving with wisdom. Losing 2 channels in the past 25 days where a lot of lessons were lost, a lot of hours of, going into prophecy, breaking down scriptures, so on and so forth, edification were lost, just moving with wisdom. So the lessons that are on that backup channel and other lessons that I have downloaded on my computer don't get lost. But back to this lesson. Cyber attack forces a shutdown of a top U.S. pipeline. The operator, Colonial Pipeline, said it had halted systems for its 5,500 miles of pipeline after being hit by a ransomware attack. Supposedly, right? Got to take everything that Esau says with a grain of salt. But these cyber attacks and things of that nature that are causing things like this to happen, supposedly, could lead to a famine because you have a gas shortage. Also, you have a great number of people who drive these things right here, semi-trucks, truckers, who don't want to get hit up with the juice. They don't want to get poked up, They're not down with the JAB for the JOB. So a lot of them are going to, pretty much throw up the deuces and chuck the deuces. And a lot of those truckers and those trucks won't be on the streets, which is going to cause a famine in your local area at your grocery store, because most grocery stores have a 2 to 3 day supply of food in them. And when those trucks stop running and the food runs out in the grocery store, you're going to have total anarchy on the streets. So let's go into this article right here. This happened in Alabama. One of the nation's largest pipelines, which carries refined gasoline and jet fuel from Texas up the East Coast to New York, was forced to shut down after being hit by ransomware in a vivid demonstration of the vulnerability in energy infrastructure to cyber attacks, supposedly, right? The operator of the system, Colonial Pipeline, said in a vaguely worded statement late Friday, when it had shut down its 5,500 miles of pipeline, which it says carries 45% of the East Coast fuel supplies. Pretty much that's all you need to read about that. Half the fuel supply of the East Coast is pretty much being held at gunpoint, because let's read this part right here. On Saturday, as the FBI, the Energy Department, and the White House delved into the details, Colonial Pipeline acknowledged that its corporate computer networks had been hit by a ransomware attack in which criminal groups hold data hostage until the victim pays a ransom. And you got to take that with a grain of salt. It could just be made up, but it could be real. But either way it goes, it's happening, and it's causing a shortage and a backup of the fuel supply, which is going to cause some things to happen via trucks stop running, a surge in gasoline prices. You may drive by AM, PM, wherever you get your gas, Arco, so on and so forth, BP, so on and so forth, and see that gas is, $10 a gallon, something crazy, man. But that's all you need to read. That's all I'm going to read about that right there. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory what's going on, And, he's out here causing all sorts of, randomness to happen, via made up, via real. Either way it goes down, it's going to affect the supply. And let's read about this in a different article. So this is out of Eyewitness News from ABC. I believe it's from Houston. And let's go into this article about this angle of the situation. So many shortages. List of major consumer goods affected by supply chain interruptions. So you have chicken, lumber, microchips. See how E had to throw that in there, gas, steel, metals, chlorine, and ketchup packets. What do they all have in common? They're all nearly impossible to find. Shortages are popping up across the supply chain as the pandemic messes with shipping, demand, and supply, and all other levers of the global economy. Whether that's a typo, whether they want to say levels or levers, whatever. So let's get into what this is affecting. Chicken. And I did a video on this topic. You have KFC, Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, and other chicken suppliers that are saying that it's hard to find people to process chicken, and that's going to affect the supply, as well as worldwide. They're buying up farmland. Bill Gates, being a major player in the land of Babylon, aka America, And you have the government buying up farmland, you know, world governments buying up farmland, so on and so forth. And they're also killing livestock. You know, millions of chickens have been killed since the beginning of this pandemic, and that's going to affect the food supply and the supply of chicken on a worldwide scale. Chlorine, you know, no fun in the sun, you know, no jab, no high dive, basically, at your local pool coming soon. Computer chips. Well, so ironic that E has to mention this, because this is what they eventually want to get inside, you know, via that charagma, the prophesied thing, you know, the big kahuna, the MOTB, you know, the MOBZ for Shizi, you know, the Neuralink, you know, the digital wallet, you know, via a charagma. That's also going to have your health records on there, all of your other records, your digital bank account, so on and so forth. Gas. Well, that's going to affect the supply chain, because no gas means no trucks. No trucks means no food trucks coming into your neighborhood, which means no groceries, which means all hell will break loose once those grocery stores run out of food, and they only have a 2 to 3 day supply in those grocery stores, man. Ketchup, well, you know, no ham, no burger, no cheese, and no ham, you know, pun intended. And a lot of people are not going to have two things that go together, you know. Like Smokey said on Friday, man, no ham, no burger, you know, no milk, no cereal. Through times 102 and still add use. Lumber, you know, metals, so on and so forth. Steel. So a lot of things are going to be affected, you know, via these fuel shortages, you know, because a lot of these goods are supplied via those trucks, you know. Some of them come in on tankers, you know, but they have to be able to transport those goods to the pier. And how do they transport those goods to the harbor, the pier, the port? Trucks, man, fuel. And how do those tankers get from one area of the world to another? Fuel. So, you know, it's going to affect a lot of things. So let's get into the scriptures. 2nd Ezra 16:8. The mighty Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? You know, and right now Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai is plaguing this place like none other, you know. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai is letting his presence be known in many ways, man. You know, and one of the ways that he's letting his presence being known is the famine. You can sense that, you know, something isn't right, you know, and a lot of people who aren't in the truth are bringing up some of these topics, you know, famine, so on and so forth, you know, the food supply and the chain being affected by the pandemic, the chicken crisis in America, you know. And Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai is the one that is sending the plagues, man. The pandemic, you know, whether, you know, it's Esau, you know, or there is actually a plague, you know, as far as literally, you know, right now, as far as this whole CV-19 situation is. Either way it goes, you have to throw a mask on your face to go into the grocery store, you know. And who's the cause of that? Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, man. He's putting the spirit on Esau to go full-fledged with this NWO agenda, with this one world government, Agenda 2030, Agenda 21 / New World Order agenda. And part of that agenda is silencing anybody, you know, who has a adverse opinion, making everybody, you know, drink the juice, take the Jim Jones juice, and eventually the charagma, the prophesied thing, you know. And Yahweh Bashim Shah is putting the spirit on the devil, Esau Edom, to reveal himself, man, to be the devil, man. Second Ezra 15-49. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And right now, a pestilence is tearing up the world, man. You know, whether it's E and his fabricated numbers, or, you know, this thing is, you know, actually real, which, you know, just my opinion, speaking as a man, you know, ain't nothing popping like that. You know, it's all smoke and mirrors, you know, as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of Akim, you know, have that same opinion when it comes to, you know, the pandemic. But that's neither here nor there. It's still happening. You still have to throw a mask on to go into any type of business, it's like a business establishment. You still have to pretty soon, coming down the pipeline, jab up to be down with the society, you know. And the pestilence is becoming a obstacle that you won't be able to dance around pretty soon. You know, pretty soon you're going to get that letter from your job saying, guess what, to work here in the next 2 weeks, we're going to need you to, you know, go do that thing, man. Go down there and see Mad Max. And a lot of people are getting hit up via the baby sword, you know, via the juice, the cup, and the receipt that they want you to have, showing that you've went down there to drink the juice. You know, all because of the pestilence. And the famine is coming because these people who don't want to drink the juice, they don't want to take the cup. These truckers, these semi-truck drivers, you know, they're not going to want to drive because they don't want to be hit up, man. And that's going to cause a famine in Babylon. When those food trucks stop running, Vaughn's, Fred Meyer's, whatever local grocery store, Walmart, so on and so forth, well, that's going to lead to poverty, man. You know, because a lot of those grocery stores, shopping centers, you know, when they don't have food in their actual stores, well, people are going to be using other means, you know, to fill their bellies. Cannibalism, eating wild animals, eating each other, eating their children, so on and so forth. It's going to get bad out here, man, you know, and pretty much, you know, right in your face. A lot of these men out here who are going to be drafted into that Third World War, they're going to die, man. And that's going to lead to widowhood. And that's when Isaiah 4:1 kicks in. Because a lot of these women out here, they're not going to have a man because their man died. You know, their man, you know, those men died in war. And you see that conflict being brewed up and stirred up more and more and more, you know, every day. We're keeping a close eye on that. You know, we are keeping a close eye on that, you know. Ezekiel 5:16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. And Yahweh Bashim Shai is breaking the staff of bread slowly but surely, one day at a time, you know. And this right here is going to cause a lot to go down, you know, especially if the hostage situation keeps up, you know, the ransom situation keeps up, you know. That's going to mean that a lot of people are going to be caught by those evil arrows of famine, you know? And it's a beautiful thing to understand that these things have to come to pass, you know, before the deliverance, the destruction comes, you know. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And a lot of people are being rocked back to sleep via, those stimulus checks. Joe Biden, Creepy Joe, and his 1,400, 1,400. A lot of people are being rocked back to sleep via things opening back up. As long as you drink the cup and we'll open back up. They're being rocked to sleep by Esau Edom, who's saying peace and safety. Just come on in, man. A lot of wicked leaders in Israel are telling you to go, go down there, go see Mad Max. Make sure you buy 2 tickets to the Maxwell concert, and make sure you go online and book ticket number 3 and 4, to that Maxwell concert. You don't want to lose your job, do you? That General Yohana, Bishop Nate, Geno Jennings report. That's not the report of the house of David, of the prophets. The prophets, the prophets of old prophesied against many countries and kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence, roughly paraphrasing. So we're not down with the get down. We're not saying peace and safety. We're giving you the other report, telling you, get right tonight. Let's go into the book of Ecclesiastes 12:1. Speaking of get right tonight, Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. And it's important to seek Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai while he may be found. Don't wait, until there's a battalion in your neighborhood kicking in doors, making people, get down with the get down to lay down. It's going to be too late then. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows, be darkened. And right now, we're in the situation where Esau Edom is saying peace and safety. He's saying, come outside. It's cool. As long as you got the receipt, you can do this and do that. The privileged versus the unprivileged, It's going to come a situation, when this next lockdown comes into full fruition, when the grinding is going to cease again, and it's going to get bad out here, man. So remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all of the daughters of music shall be brought low. And right now we're in a situation where They're reopening things back up. But that's just so they can lock shit back down, man. And when they lock shit back down, the doors are going to be shut in the streets. You're going to see those department store windows of those high-end stores boarded up again, you know. And Adon Rathasat boarded up for good, man, you know, until the destruction comes. We're hoping that this next lockdown, you know, that's coming, is the final lockdown, you know. And Adon Rathasat it is, man, because we're sick of this place, man. You know, having to look at, you know, a transformer, and you got to call him a woman. You know, you got to address her as sir. You know, if you work in a corporate surrounding, you work in a corporate setting. You know, that's frustrating, man. You know, that's frustrating, man. That's complete hypocrisy, man. That's wicked and evil as fuck, man. And Esau honors this shit, man. He promotes that, man. You know, he'll fire you, you know. You know, you'll lose your job over that shit, man. You know, in certain situations, if you work in certain industries, man, you know, craziness. You know, that's why we got to get the heck up out of here, man. You know, NAMBLA. I mean, man, you could just go on and on and on about NAMBLA, man. But Esau promotes that shit, man. You know, them exalting women, you know, OnlyFans. I mean, come on, man. You know, women teaching the Bible, saying we need to trust in science. And then, you know, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, R.I.P., you know, Young Jeezy voice, you know, R.I.P., man. Out of there, like Vladimir. That's why the scriptures say, I suffer not a woman to teach, you know, roughly paraphrasing, you know. Let the woman learn in silence, you know. Last scripture. And Lord's will, you found this lesson edifying. Short, quick hitter, you know, through the Spirit. Sometimes I could be a little long-winded, but, you know, trying to make this under 30 minutes if the Spirit allows. And looks like it's going to be that case. And Lord's will, you found this lesson edifying. Luke 21:28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. I'm going to read this again. Luke 21:28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And we have to witness a pestilence. We have to witness them push the charagma, man. You have to be a witness to celebrities coming out promoting the charagma, promoting the max, you know. You have to be a witness to the famine, you know, watching family members jab up, you know, your favorite uncle, you know, your auntie that made the good peach cobbler growing up, you know, your favorite granny, your favorite uncle, man, that was out there barbecuing, you know, had all the good recipes, so on and so forth. You know, your homeboy from the streets, you know, that used to rap with you back in the day when he was in the world, you know, see him jab up, call you crazy, you know, saying you're bugged out. We have to witness and be a witness to all these things, man, because all these things coming to pass means our redemption is drawing nigh, man. The fact that these people are out there trying to basically make the whole world perpetual slaves under the NWO agenda, you know, we have to be a witness to that. We have to be a witness to the draft that's coming up pretty soon, where they're when they're going to want to draft people to be in that third world war, man. You know, we have to be a witness to all these things, man. So I'm going to read this again. Luke 21:28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So with that, I'd like to close on out. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rahar Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the head apostles of Great Millstone, who do rule well and teach well with sound doctrine. Shalom to the elders and the elder bishops of Great Millstone as well. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to all the sincere Akim and Akwat who subscribe to this truth. A hearty shalom to the men out there in the highways and byways, highways and hedges, preaching and teaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and risking their freedom, now more so than ever, especially in these times, making their bodies a living sacrifice, out there in the highways and byways, highways and hedges, with the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy, which allows men to go into the scriptures and bring out understanding on a high level. And last but not least, a hearty shalom to the Mid Valley Camp, New Jersey, NYC. First camp I ever heard the truth from, Isaiah 62, verses 6 through 7. Those that make mention of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, keep not silence. Give him no rest day or night. To Jerusalem is a praise in all the earth. So, Lord's will, you found this lesson edifying. And to the next time, Lord's will, Shalom. DTA, Abba Babal. Soon.